We're 2 weeks into the NFL season, and few teams should be hitting the emergency button, the panic button, whatever you want to call it. But some of y'all might. So let's go ahead and check out some mock drafts. Welcome back to Mock to Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock it, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. By the way, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Also, heads up, this isn't my mock draft. I don't know if I have to say that, but I did. We're going to be checking out the Draft Network. Once again, this is Keith Sanchez of the Draft Network. Also, we're doing a watch-along this Saturday. I haven't decided on the game yet. You'll know when it goes up. Should be up probably Wednesday on which live stream I'm doing, or at least which game. We will be doing another one of these mock the mocks Friday. There's one I found that I want to go over, and it's 2 rounds, so that'll be fun. But let's go ahead, get into it. Keith Sanchez, follow him on Twitter, man. He's a good follow. But let's get into this sucker. And this draft order is based on Bet Online Super Bowl odds. If you're mad about the draft order, then shoot, go throw money down on a bet. If you think, oh, hey, this team's gonna be better, they're gonna win the Super Bowl, la-di-da, then put your money where your mouth is. Hey, let's check out the Jets. They got the first pick in there, going Will Anderson. Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really hit the panic button on Zach Wilson just yet, considering he hasn't played yet this year. So you don't know what you're working with at all. I mean, if you're drafting first, you got to imagine quarterback might be in the books, but then again, it might not. So they go Will Anderson, probably the best defensive player, or probably the best non-quarterback prospect in this class. I think Jalen Carter definitely deserves a nod here. If you want to look into it, I mean, shoot, he's kind of right up Robert Saleh's alley. So I think he could definitely be one. But Will Anderson, they go with pass rush. Next, we got the Atlanta Falcons. This has to be quarterback, right? Jalen Carter. I imagine that we're going to get a look at Desmond Ridder at some point this season. And if you're drafting second overall and you get your shot from any quarterback in this class, you're taking it, my guy. That's just my opinion. But they go Jalen Carter. And just as I said earlier, literally seconds ago, probably might be for some people the best non-quarterback prospect in this class. And they could use some help up in the middle with Grady Jarrett there. So yeah, I could see that, but I still would likely lean quarterback. But I mean, again, you can make the same case. Oh, well, we haven't seen Desmond Ridder, much like the Jets haven't seen Zach Wilson. I mean, there's a different type of investment you're talking about there. You're talking about the first round investment in Zach Wilson and a third round investment in Desmond Ridder. So it's kind of different, my guy. It's kind of different. Let us keep rolling. Houston Texans. This is quarterback. Bryce Young. He is my best quarterback. He's my top quarterback in this class. Size is going to be a knock for some people, but this cat is just the most put together passer, I think, in this class. I absolutely love Bryce Young. If you're Houston, you get your chance. Take the top quarterback in this class. As long as it ends up not looking like 2022, and it doesn't look like it's going to, then yeah, go ahead and take QB. Next, we got the Carolina Panthers. I imagine this is quarterback. Will Levis. Ugh. I don't love Will Levis at this selection. Listen, some of the wrinkles that Levis needed to iron out of his game, he has yet to do that, at least this early on in the season. The decision making is still a sus. You also got the just not going through reads and whatnot. I get he's coming from a pro style offense, but CJ Stroud has to be the pick all day, right? Really does. But Panthers going quarterback, I think, makes a ton of sense. So far, the Baker returns haven't looked inspiring. Jacksonville Jaguars go Broderick Jones. We got our first tackle off the board, and yeah, I don't mind this. Cam Robinson's been okay. I think Jawan Taylor has been better. than he has in recent years, and I think he's been better than Cam Robinson. But he's a free agent after this season. So I think going tackle makes a ton of sense. Broshmo Jones has been very impressive. There's another guy that we could be talking about in Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. But, I mean, he's a guy that we've got a very small sample size over, though. It's been encouraging. But, yeah, now Jags going tackle makes a ton of sense. Detroit Lions, X on the clock. CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud. Look at that. And that was a total guess. Yeah, dude, if you get a shot at Stroud and you're the Detroit Lions, go for it, man. You feel this team feels like a quarterback away. Just when it comes to the defense, it just needs a little bit more talent, a little bit more seasoning. But you got one of the best offensive lines in football. You have brought together some good playmakers. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of feels like Chark might get a second contract, really. Depending on how much they consider him worth. But Amon-Ra St. Brown's been amazing. They'll get Jameson Williams back here soon. So a lot of things are trending up. So yeah, I would jump on that. Seattle Seahawks. Quarterbacks are off the board for all intents and purposes. Because I don't think I'm taking, like, I wouldn't take Will Levis this early, but he went. Anthony Richardson and Tyler Van Dyke, I still think have a lot to improve, and we'll talk about them in tomorrow's video a little bit more in depth. But let's see what Seattle chooses here. Miles Murphy, so they go defense. Yeah, I like Miles Murphy. He's been real silent this year. Maybe a year goes on and, you know, he gets built more disruptive. But, I mean, from a physical skill set, dude, length, size, tools, like, they're oozing out, dude. If Trayvon Walker could go first overall, dude, best believe Miles Murphy can, dude. Miles Murphy is amazing. I love that cat. All right, we're on to the New York Giants, Anthony Richardson. Hey, listen, I just did this in my mock draft, but that was before this past weekend. Listen, we haven't seen it. This guy can't operate inside structure. The turnover-worthy plays have been high. Like, Anthony Richardson just doesn't feel ready yet. He's a guy with all the tools that, yeah, he can go top. And maybe he's a guy like you're willing to, like, hey, we'll have him red shirt or something. Or we have a guy in the ball who knew how to work around some of the deficiencies that Josh Allen had early on. But, yeah, I mean, I get it. Quarterback, it's a need, but I feel like it's kind of a reach right now at this point, given where Richardson is in his progression and his development. All right, who's next on the board? We got Chicago Bears, tackle, receiver. Is it too high for receiver? Do you go for Addison or maybe JSN? I think I might lean to the offensive line. Okay, here's Jackson Smith and the Jigba, receiver. So, man, I don't know what's going on offense. Like, they will not lean on Fields. You get a real dominant slot player in JSN. Though he's had a tough start to the season because of injury, but I imagine he's going to be better going forward. Like if you get Addison, he's very similar to what they have in Darnell Mooney in terms of size and speed. So, like, do you really want, like, you already kind of have that type of guy on your roster, get something a little bit different, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is different. Wow, that is some high quality H2O. Should have said it like Waterboy. Wow, that's some high quality H2O. All right, Washington Commanders really could go anywhere. They go with Trent Simpson. Totally believable. They really don't have a linebacker that they probably have a ton of confidence in at least the open space and in coverage, and Simpson would be that. So I'm on board. Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. They go offensive line. Peter Skoronski, a guy that could literally play any position. He could play guard, center. I even feel like he could maybe play a little bit of tackle. This team has had trouble getting the ball, like running the football. The run blocking has been atrocious. So, yeah, they do need to get better in that regard. You took Kenny Pickett as your first rounder. For all intents and purposes, he is the quarterback of the future. New England Patriots, we go playmaker. Keely Ringo's here. Oh, it's Keyshawn Butte. Okay, so I would go Keely Ringo. You get a guy that can play on the outside. You basically get your Stephon Gilmore for the next few years. You don't have, they have a ton of guys that can play in the slot and sub packages on that roster. You've seen Jonathan Jones. He can play on the outside, so get a guy that can play next to him. That's where I would go. But he says this pick should be simple for New England. Watching the Patriots offense, there are no explosive plays due to the receivers failing to separate. Okay, I see where you're going there. It doesn't matter who's calling the offensive plays in New England, blah, blah, blah. Keyshawn Boutte allows them to consistently throw the ball deep, but is also a guy that can take a screen play for 50 yards. So I could see that regard, but like Boutte, like it's a long season. I'm just glad he's still playing there for LSU, but we need to see him be explosive. He hasn't been a vital part of the offense just yet. So I would go with, I think, the more surefire prospect right now in Ringo. Tennessee Titans go Noah Sewell. So they get their thumper, their pounder. I mean, they got David Law in there, but like no one that's truly like the Rashaan Evans, like the pure run stuffer. And he brings a lot more physicality. For me, this is still too early though. If you're Tennessee, so I'm kind of indifferent about it. Dallas Cowboys go Paris Johnson, the offensive line. So this is interesting. Terrence Steele actually had a pretty good game this past week. Tyler Smith, for all intents and purposes, is supposed to be the tackle of the future. If anything, you can move him to guard, which might actually better pan out for him, and then have Johnson come in there at left tackle. So I like that. It's good. It's a good draft pick. I like Paris Johnson a lot. Best human being in this draft. Arizona Cardinals is Keely Ringo. You have Cam Smith being the top corner off the board. Listen, the dude was just hurt this past week, so couldn't play against Georgia. And I don't think anyone's touched Ringo thus far. It's Ringo and the rest of the cornerback class. I don't think you can't Ringo didn't go off the board yet, so it's like I don't know. For me, it's like no one's proved to be cornerback 2, let alone someone that could usurp Ringo as cornerback 1, in my opinion. So, but Cam Smith is a good ball player. I think there's a case for him and Christian Gonzalez as cornerback 2 right now in this class. All right, let's keep it going. Houston Texans. What are you gonna get? Brian Brazee, by the way. Show a little love to Brian Brazee on social media if you can. Dude just lost his sister to cancer. Don't know the specifics. Don't know if it was kind of like they knew this was coming type of thing, but still thoughts and prayers to the family. But yeah, getting some guys on the interior would be great for this defense. They traded Ross Blacklock. Like the only cat they really have on that interior is Roy. Excuse me, Roy Lopez, and that ain't saying much. So yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. This interior class, I expect a lot of players to start coming off the board too. Las Vegas Raiders, they could go with Olu Fashanu if you're that high on him. I got him right now top 50. Still a bit of a project. Got a couple of other tackles ahead of him, but in terms of upside, I think he's got the biggest upside. Where else can they go? Ringo? I think Ringo has to be the pick. They go Andrew Voorhees. So they get offensive line help. Yeah, I mean, I think Dylan Parham had a couple of penalties this past week, but I think he's looked all right. I mean, there's concerns about the right tackle position. Like, get an offensive line help's good, key. But I mean, dude, Keely Ringo, how can you let him fall this far? I just want to hurry up and see where he goes. Philadelphia Eagles. Is this a Ringo spot? Not necessarily, but I think I might just take him because he's the best value on the board. They go Bijan Robinson. Okay, that's fair. This is like pencil in for everybody. Like anybody that's making a mock draft, they're putting Bijan to Philadelphia. They have 2 first-round picks. Miles Sanders is a free agent, so like instead of re-signing him, you could probably get a much lower cost solution in Bijan, which a lot of people would consider an upgrade. So, all right, Cincinnati Bengals, not necessarily in need of Ringo, but again, it's not out of the question. There he goes, Keely Ringo. What the heck? Why did it take him so long to come off the board? Ringo is an impressive corner, one of the best corners in the blah. See, I wish there would be like reason why Keely Ringo fell so far in this draft. Because to me, that's the bigger question than Cincinnati taking a corner, though. I mean, a corner is such a volatile position. Get as many good playmakers at that position as you can, but yeah. Again, the bigger question for me is like, how did this happen? Indianapolis Colts, you go QB, Tanner McKee. You could throw Van Dyke in there too, but after this past week, I don't think we'll see him in this mock. Offensive line, tackle, maybe you go Shanu. There's Anton Harrison, Blake Freeland. Other spots, maybe corner. Oh, receiver, playmakers. My gosh, they were just down all the playmakers in the world. They didn't have Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. So actually, Jordan Addison gives them some speed over the top. That's actually lit. I can't believe I didn't think of that. That's so silly of me. Good pick. All right, Seattle Seahawks. They go with Henry To'oTo'o. I mean, this linebacker class ain't all that in a bag of chips, if you know what I'm saying. So, if you're the Seahawks, I would take best player off the board. Like, you could look at one of the other pass rushers. Dude, interior class. Like, legit, any of the interior prospects here, I think would have been a win. Because their interior needs a little revamping. Minnesota Vikings. They go Michael Mayer. That's right. You're still on the board. Irv Smith actually had a decent week now that he was more involved. But yeah, I guess you could always upgrade. I don't know. I think I'd be looking for more of a position that might be, I don't know. Because if you think of the Vikings needs, it's not necessarily like a team that has needs a lot of high value, like a high value position. They kind of got a bit of that like solid release planned out for the future. But I mean, it's not terrible to shy away from corner. I don't think you necessarily go into the tackle class. You go in the interior, but then we're not talking about high value anymore. Like pass rush is always fun. I haven't seen a pass rusher off the board in a little bit. So, I don't know. Let's keep on looking. Miami Dolphins. Ooh, who do my Dolphins go? Jalen Duncan. Yeah, this tackle class has been kind of unimpressive thus far. Unless you're like the top. That's not true. Like, you got a guy emerging like Fashanu. Harrison's looked good. Like, Johnson, Jones, Skoronski, they're all looking good. Like, and then Duncan, like, honestly, not half bad either. It's still probably firmly a day 2 guy, but it's nice to see him mentioned. I know the guys at the Draft Network are higher on Duncan, though. Baltimore Ravens corner. Caillou Blue Kelly. Caillou Blue Kelly struggled hard against speed. I get it. He's a guy that can play inside and out. He gives you a little versatility in that regard. He kind of matches what they want to do schematically. Still feels a little early, but I don't mind it too much. Green Bay Packers. Quentin Johnston. I like this pick a lot because they don't have a Quentin Johnston on the roster. He has a very similar I would say similar skill set. This ain't a comp to Devontae Adams. So add in that and actually getting Aaron Rodgers some receiving help. Good job. Means it won't happen. All right, 26, Detroit Lions. Gervin Dexter, they get a little more help on the tier. Gervin Dexter's been tearing it up. Tearing it up. The guy is so good. He's good athletically, like physically, he's very imposing. Good length. So, like, yeah, we expect to see other guys, at least at the tail end here, like Sika Ika, Jaquilin Roy. I think those are two guys that have really impressed thus far. Los Angeles Chargers. We could go with tackle. All right. That's really the only thing I'm thinking of. They go receiver. What the hell? Cornelius Johnson. All right. This is like a pure projection, which is fine. So let's look at what he has to say about Johnson. Johnson is a big-bodied, explosive receiver that can stretch the field vertically. The Chargers need another outside receiver that will allow, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to work the slot positions, and I believe Johnson is that guy. I think Palmer's been good, but I mean, dude, if you look at Johnson, he hasn't been that effective thus far for Michigan, which not a lot of that's his fault. They've been running the ball a lot because they've gotten ahead easily in games because they've only faced cupcake teams thus far. But this guy's hands are dog water. Take a look. His contested catch, 9-26. For bigger guy, 6'3", 208. You'd like at least a little bit of a contested catch from him. And this season thus far, man, he's got one drop, which doesn't sound all that bad, but it's been on 9 targets. Previous season, on 66 targets, 7 drops. We're talking this guy's firmly past the 10% drop rate, which is like, to me, like, you get close to that number and I'm like, ugh, get it together, bro. So like, I look at that and I'm like, I'm not drafting that in the first round. Like, you gotta show me some sure hands or something else. So for me, Johnson, he ain't a first rounder, even projection wise. Don't know why the Chargers would do it. Eagles. Now we get a pick that's not Bijan. Jordan Battle's been all right. He's probably gonna be firmly a day 2 guy. I don't think he has like the day 1 upside at safety, but grab another safety. Like, there's some good ones in this class. Like, I think Christopher Smith would be good here. Brian Branch would be good here. We haven't seen Antonio Johnson come off the board yet. I think that's another good one. So I think there's a lot of other guys to consider. For Jordan Battle to be the top guy, though, don't know about that one. Kansas City Chiefs, they get Isaiah Foskey, so they grab some more edge help, which I kind of like that, because Foskey finally having a breakthrough game this season. Didn't really show much in the first 2 games of the year, though he had a decent back and forth with Paris Johnson, which Johnson ultimately won. But I get it. He's a high floor guy in this edge class. It's kind of up in the air who's the next edge off the board. We talk guys like Andre Carter. A lot of people really love Nolan Smith. I'm not one of those guys. But Foskey here, back end, I think is nice and safe. Tampa Bay Buccaneers has to be quarter, right? No, they go running back. Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, I don't know about this one. I do not know about this one whatsoever. Because you would think they have their, like, scattish back of the future in Rashad White, the rookie out of Arizona State. This is just too high for me when it comes to Gibbs. I get it. It's like you're giving Tom Brady a... oh my gosh, who was the cat? James White type of player to work with. He would love it. You don't have to bring back Giovanni Bernard, but it's like, you're just burning a pick, I think, if you're the Buccaneers and you still have Tom Brady. Buffalo Bills. Brian Branch. Everyone and their mom apparently going Brian Branch. It's just a good pick. they're getting older at the safety spot. You get a guy with a little versatility and some ball skills, then yeah, watch out. I actually really like that pick. It's one that I've made quite a bit. And if you didn't know, the Dolphins, they forfeited their first rounder, so that's why we only have 31, as you can tell. No more on the list. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.